Intimidating special. Thank the Lord, he probably is not paying attention. Classroom of the Elite shattered my expectations by Viridian.
Elite has always been one of those anime that's eluded me when it comes to understanding its appeal. I knew it was extremely popular when the anime first came out in 2017 and saw that the light novels were consistently top sellers. I tried to give Classroom of the Elite a chance 2 years ago, but couldn't get through the first season. After hearing that season
anime?
2 and 3 were coming out over 5 years after the first season, I assumed that Classroom of the Elite's anime would be dead upon arrival, but it defied my expectations and is still going extremely strong when it comes to popularity. Recently, I tried diving into Classroom of the Elite's anime again, and throughout the first season, I wasn't really impressed at all. However, as time went on and I was soon eagerly starting season 3, I realized that Classroom of the Elite was far better than I had given it credit for, and I found myself slowly crossing out my growing pains when it came to this anime with each coming arc. Despite going into Classroom of the Elite with negative
This is crazy, I'm not gonna lie. It is a rare sight to hear some Classroom of the Elite glaze. I thought the only person that did this was Intimidated. Any other time, any other time I hear Classroom of the Elite, it's always some negative shit. I'm just giving it a buck. Niggas hate on this anime for fun at this point.
Expectations, I left more excited than ever, and it's all thanks to this man, Kiyotaka Aonokoji, the character I can always look at and say, let him
cook that ass. Cause if something looked boring in Classroom of the Elite, best believe Aonokoji about to come and turn that bitch up.
Cook. To fully understand what Classroom of the Elite did in order to vastly change my opinion on it, I gotta start with what rubbed me the wrong way when it came to the initial impressions and the first few arcs. Classroom of the Elite's setting was interesting enough, taking place in a highly prestigious, isolated high school that had flexible hierarchy, unique exams, dubious morals, and an interesting point system. You see, I was kind of expecting Classroom of the Elite to be one of those gimmicky shows set in high school featuring a bunch of extremely exaggerated, unrealistic characters who all gathered to glaze the main character, who is seemingly a nonchalant genius. My first impression of Aonokoji was, wow, if I was in middle school, I'd totally idolize this guy and constantly say, he's just like me for real, while the buttons are popping out of my shirt and my fingers are covered in Dorito dust inside of a musty, pitch.
I'm not gonna lie. Even if like you're a middle schooler, you can't even say that.
Black basement. Pair this with characters like Suzune, who seemed like a Yukino ripoff, Kushida, an airhead who I thought would be the designated moron of the show, Ryuen, a high schooler who goes around with a whole ass bodyguard.
Okay, so basically, what I'm getting from season 1, you thought you didn't like it because you just assumed a bunch of things, which we gotta stop doing. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes you gotta let shit play out. It's cool not to like the animation. It's cool not to like the story. It's cool not to like the characters. But assuming shit and then being like, I'm not gonna like this based off assumptions, we gotta stop doing that, bro.
And waterboards people, etc., etc. You get what I'm saying. It wasn't looking good. I'll acknowledge the fact that generalizing characters like this and writing them off, even though I haven't seen their arcs, isn't really a proper way to enjoy media.
And I like you, bro. Cause that's a good way to take accountability. I like that you realized what you did and you instantly took accountability. Because you could have not wrote that. You could have just said, yeah, that's what I did. But you wrote it in there that you took accountability and you understood what you did. And that's how we like people like you, man. We like you.
But that's what makes Classroom of the Elite's turnaround for me that much better. Despite the anime being called Classroom of the Elite, most of the characters in Aonokoji's class felt like utter morons. I know they're in Class D, but isn't this one of the hardest schools in Japan to get into? Due to my poor first impressions of the characters, I found myself feeling skeptical when it came to the specialized tests that would go on within the school and the point system itself. I assumed it would be a gimmick that wore off later on, since there are only so many ways you can make exams interesting, and the point system seemed like it was only going to be a wallet for students. I didn't think classes outside of Aonokoji's would have any meaningful characters and would just be filled with hilariously
like, bro, what type of thought process did you have? That shit don't even make sense. You thought you realize in season 1 they say the goal is to get to class A, right? And they're class D. So you think all the other classes are just gonna have meaningless characters that don't contribute to the story? Like that's literally just don't even make sense. Like, just listen, it don't even make sense. It literally doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
Evil high schoolers that Aonokoji would take down with his wit, while everyone is left completely bamboozled. The large amount of fan service wasn't helping either. I had a feeling it was just going to be the Aonokoji show, and that every other character existed to prop him up or take him.
There was fan service? Bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Niggas drag fan service so much, I don't even remember half the fan service niggas be fucking slandering so much, bro. I think y'all pay attention to it so much that, like, it's a problem, bro. it's literally just like like, and these aren't even ecchi shows, bro. Y'all have not seen fan service, bro. Like, calm down with that shit, bro. Like, just watch the show, bro. You will forget it still the next day.
Down in a very black and white manner. Boy, was I so wrong about Classroom of the Elite, and honestly, I'm glad I was. First of all, my assumption about the exams being administered to the 4 classes within a grade being gimmicky and unimportant was thrown out the window after the very first arc. There's clearly a lot of thought that's being put into these exams, and there's a fair amount of options, each with their own risks and rewards. A lot of edge cases have been considered by the proctors of the exams as well, so characters really have to think and be creative with their intel if they want to get a leg up for any of these exams. These exams aren't strictly written exams either. They can be basically anything from an island survival game to an exam that requires everyone in a class to vote to boot one of their homies out and have them expelled from the school. Classroom of the Elite cleverly designed its exams so that every single exam isn't a simple class versus class battle, and many times we get to see characters from different classes get grouped together for a specific exam, like during the VIP test. However, even during these tests, students still need to somehow propel their class forward while directly working with other classes, which adds an extra layer of complexity to these exams. The stakes are very real in Classroom of the Elite, and navigating through exams properly requires smart usage of the point system, as points can be used to buy basically anything. Anything you can think of, even the most ridiculous request, probably has a point total attached to it, which makes the point system itself all the more interesting, since students have to rely on their wit not only for the good of the class, but to also make their lives at school easier as well, since points are dough.
I'm glad you could take and you can see the things that this anime presents you, and you can understand them and see how they relate to things that happen in the future and things that happen. Cause you would think it's a basic skill, but clearly niggas don't got that skill, and it's okay. It's okay. That's why there's a lot of hate videos, and most of the hate videos on Class Elite is more of a problem with Ana Koji, and then the problem with them skipping content in the light novel, which as an anime only, I can't say that shit has affected me at all, but I guarantee you, if you probably watch the light novel, that probably hurt you a little bit. So, you know, it is what it is. But like, in terms of like the story and the characters, like, if you come for that, I don't know. Like, you're just not paying attention fully to me, I think.
Exams are Gigabrain 5D space checker simulators. They wouldn't really have much of an impact on me if they were all taken down by Ayano Koji with ease in ways that other characters can't even comprehend. If the main character is just some mastermind from the shadows who tries to mind his own business and is clearly superior to every other student, even those from Class A, then what's the point? That's where I'm once again wrong about Classroom of the Elite. There are so many characters in this anime. And when I mean characters, I don't mean background reaction image merchants, but actual characters with actual distinct characterization and arcs that progress at quite a good pace. One of the best things about Classroom of the Elite is that the classes themselves are not monoliths. Not everyone has the same goal, and not everyone within a class likes each other, so there's lots of shady shenanigans going on between classes. So you never know who's telling white-faced lies and secretly going behind everyone's backs to divulge important information to enemy classes.
And you don't know what bitches be doing in this motherfucker, because we got bitches that just be doing bitch ass activity. If you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about.
Behavior isn't discouraged either. You can straight up transfer to any class you'd like to for 20 million points, and often these dealings are paid for with said points, which means you could be the biggest dickhead in the world and constantly stake your class while racking up funds to transfer. The best example of this is Kushida, who I initially thought was an insufferable dumbass, just for it to be revealed that she's actually quite the conniving, attention-hungry person who wants to bring the downfall of Suzune and Ayano Koji. We see her time and time again give information to enemies to hurt her class, and even after Ayano Koji bamboozles her, she doesn't magically turn good and still has a very tense relationship with him. As for the opposing classes,
she wanna act fake. She wanna act fake happy and fake friends, bro. No one's falling for that bullshit, bro. Can't wait for your downfall, bro. I'm gonna be turning on ha ha ha. I'm gonna be with Chief Keef in the studio laughing with you.
Each character within those classes is fleshed out like Class D's. There are still memorable characters in each class that are always pulling crazy schemes in order to get ahead. The gap between Class A and D is constantly shown by the way the members of those classes handle themselves, with Class D often looking like naive ruffians in the beginning, while Class A is cold and calculated. The person who embodies this philosophy is the leader of Class A, Sakayanagi, and there's a central figure like her for each of the other classes. For Class C, there's Ryuen, who basically runs the class like a dictator, and for Class B, there's
Not no
Ichinose,
more.
who believes in the strong bond between her classmates and will do everything she can to make sure no one gets expelled from her class. All of these leaders embody their classes and have distinctive personalities, and they're all pretty damn smart. The way each of them tackles a specific exam is entirely different, and they're always thinking 10 steps ahead. I got to see their genius in action through Suzune, as throughout the first couple of exams I saw her logically go through the best course of action for a specific exam, just for her to be played like a fiddle by one of the leaders of another class. Although some actions taken by other classes may seem illogical during an exam, at the end, it's always revealed that the corresponding leader saw through the exam and acted in that manner in order to be on top. It's very clearly shown that the leaders are in a tier of their own, which further enhances the genius of Iono Koji himself. This guy rocks, and it's not because he's this super intelligent specimen of a human that always plans 20 steps ahead and somehow gets the smartest characters in the anime dancing to his tune while he constantly looks like this. If he was just some charming Mary Sue that propelled Class D to A because of his goodwill and genius, Classroom of the Elite would completely fall apart. My first impressions of Iono Koji were, damn, this dude only has one face. What is he, a robot? He's trying too hard to be an emotionless, edgy badass. Then I saw snippets of his backstory get masterfully dropped into each of the seasons, building up my intrigue for him a lot. Eventually I found out that this dude is seemingly a robot because he was raised as a human guinea pig by his own father and was completely stripped of human touch and warmth. He isn't some bright-eyed fella who wants to be the king of the school and reach Class A. He's genuinely trying to stay at school for 3 years in the shadows and quietly enjoy his first taste of freedom before being shipped back into a soulless laboratory. However, his hand is often forced due to actions taken by characters he can't really control, like his own teacher. Because of his desire to not be in the spotlight, Iono Koji usually pushes his plans through other classmates, and even then, he never really tells anyone what his full plan is until it's all said and done. Iono Koji spends a lot of time
gets no credit for it, like a real dog,
forming connections with characters both in his class and outside of it. As Classroom of the Elite progressed, Iono Koji's social presence got amplified, and he's soon seen saving someone from bullying, forming a tight friend group, and propelling Suzune to step out of the shadow of her older brother and be her own person. To pull off things like this would require a high level of emotional intelligence, which Iono Koji possesses due to his time in the White Room. He's always able to say the right thing or act in the proper manner at the right time, and is seen giving genuinely good advice to others and listening to them in order to lift them up. I found myself liking Iono Koji more and more as I saw him form connections with a bunch of characters who all had their own problems. I thought he was
come on. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Let's be real. Let's not act like he's perfect, bro. He be sliming niggas out. He be sliming niggas out for his own goals, which is cool, bro. That's what Classroom of the Elite is about. You know, Classroom of the Elite is about sliming niggas out for your own personal benefit. And let's not act like he's just a more goody two shoes great nigga. He be sliming niggas out, and you're not saying that. He be playing women like they fiddles, bro. He be playing niggas like he light and they Misa, bro. Come on, it's a little. Let's keep it a buck.
Finally learning to be more human throughout the first season, just for it to be revealed that he genuinely doesn't have emotional attachment to any of these characters and sees them as nothing more than tools. It gave me chills seeing Iono Koji deliberately wait for Suzune to be ill so she had to forfeit during the island exam, or him waiting for Kei to be waterboarded before saving her just so that their bond is further solidified. This guy is kinda heartless, and it's all due to his upbringing. I really like that Classroom of the Elite didn't rush his development throughout the first year, and I got to see him slowly but surely change. He's the engine that keeps Classroom of the Elite going, and he's one of the most unique main characters I've ever seen in this kind of setting. It's crazy that the anime's only finished the first year and so many things had happened with 2 more years remaining. It's even crazier that the anime obviously cut a bunch of stuff from the light novel, yet I was still this moved by Iono Koji.
Thank you! I like you, bro. I like you. Cause when niggas talk shit, all they do is talk about how they cut shit from the light novel. But if you a nigga like me, who's only anime only, right? I'm not watching that light novel. I mean, I'm not reading that light novel. Bro, like, it don't even seem like they skip shit. I'm sorry, I'm keeping it a buck. It don't, like, if y'all niggas didn't tell me they skip shit, I would have never knew. I could have went my whole life not knowing that they skip shit in Classroom of the Elite. I would never knew. I promise you. The story makes sense. The stuff that they put in makes sense. It don't seem like they skipped anything. It really don't. But you know, to the niggas that be hating, the shit that they skipped is fucking crucial information or crucial stuff that they be skipping. I can't tell. That's all I'm saying. Great video though.
This video will cover PlayStation.
Great video though, Viridian. So you like the video? You'll like this one too. Go ahead and click on that. Yeah. You're still here? So you don't fuck with me? Alright, I'ma just.